Hi, my name is Sam and this is Tracking Shots, a channel where I cover manga, anime, TV from time to time, and video games? Well, at least I think I still cover video games. You know, now that I think about it, I haven't actually covered any since... So you could say it's been a while. Yeah, I haven't covered a video game on this channel in like 2 years, but I do have a good excuse. And it's not that I stopped playing games after Elden Ring, because I haven't. I've just spent the better half of the last 2 years working my way through a particularly long video game franchise, one that I've had in my sights for about a decade. Persona, or the Shin Megami Tensei Persona series if you're a cool kid, has stolen my heart, taken my time, and lived rent-free in my head for the better part of 2 years. Now, I've finally finished what fans refer to as the modern Persona trilogy. Specifically, I played and beat Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royal. This is a process that took me roughly 400 hours to complete, because I took my time with these games. And look, I know what some of you real gamers are thinking.
Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
While that may be true, I need to remind you all that I'm not someone who would describe himself as having a lot of free time. I'm an adult with a job, responsibilities, and other life goals like running my first marathon this year. That stuff takes time, as does another hobby of mine that already steals a lot of my hours. Also, while 400 hours isn't a huge commitment to some, it's still like 4% of a year. That's enough time to walk from Washington, D.C. to New York City, pick up a pilot's license, and fly yourself back. And what's crazy is, I'm not done with Persona. In fact, I'm really excited to save the world through the power of friendship and punch a god in the face for a 4th time in the newly released Persona 3 Reload, a remake of the grindiest game in the trilogy. So the question is, why? Why spend 400 hours on these 3 games? What makes these titles so special? There are plenty of great games out there, and if last year taught us anything, great RPGs. Why do they not hold my attention as closely, or not at all? What is it about Persona? Well, to be honest, you've already been hearing it. And if you've played Persona 3 Reload already, you've already seen it right at the start of the game. A player shuffling between great music tracks. Ask yourself, why is that the first thing the Atlas team wants you to see? Well, because I think they've slowly learned that music is Persona's greatest weapon, and it has been for years. There's so much official Persona music out there, and almost all of it slaps. All 3 games in the modern trilogy have their own multi-disc soundtracks, which are always extended when newer versions of each title come out. Then you have the soundtracks for the side projects, which are also surprisingly really good. Hell, even the Chinese-only mobile game has some bopping tracks. But that's not all. There's also the anime adaptations with their own original music. Plus, each of the main 3 titles also have rhythm game spin-offs, with new original music and remixes to popular tracks, one of which has become a massive meme. There's connective tissue between each game's soundtracks, but it feels more like a band riffing on new ideas each album, all while staying true to what makes their sound unique. This album is more hip-hop. That's the pop one. And then there's the late career acid jazz Swerve that shouldn't have worked, but might just be their best stuff yet. If you locked me in a room and forced me to describe what a Persona song sounds like, I think somewhere in that definition I'd have to use the word blend. The bigger tracks in this series are almost always a combination of 2 or more musical ideas. A Persona song can't be contained by a single genre, mood, or even language. They have to get weird with it. Persona 3's various battle themes are my favorite example of this idea. Mixing pop, rock, and J-rap into a theme the player is going to hear thousands of times shouldn't at all work. but it's such a bizarre combination that it warrants a few hundred listens to really wrap your head around it. So yeah, the combat music in Persona is excellent, but Persona isn't all about combat. Battling shadows is only really, well, half the battle. The rest of your time is spent forming connections with your teammates and getting immersed in each game's setting. Music plays a big part here as well. Persona 4 has long been praised for how well it captures the feeling of a small town, and that praise is well deserved. Late nights spent wandering the streets of Inaba are nights well spent, and they are usually punctuated by the groovy, strangely nostalgic track A Sky Full of Stars. Compare that to Persona 5, which uses jazz scat vocals in the track Tokyo Daylight to stand in for the crowd noise as you hustle and bustle your way across the city's pedestrian-filled streets. This is a great track, even if it makes me feel a little crazy, like I'm hearing 100 people talking at once. You spend a lot of time in these places, shopping, making friends, and just taking in the scenery as you plan your next move. They become a part of the game's identity. When I walk into the dormitory, I expect to hear trumpets. The infectiously joyful pop vocals in Signs of Love turn the Dojima residence into a one-room dance floor. And when Shojuro welcomes me home after a long day of saving the world, I just want to relax, make some curry, and listen to some quiet lounge room jazz. This music evokes almost a Pavlovian response in players. It's the treat you get for moving that calendar just a single day further, or starting one more battle before taking a short rest. The soundtracks to these titles are so special, I'm not sure there's a gaming franchise we can easily compare them to. So we're not gonna. Instead, for a better comparison, let's swap mediums for a bit and reach out to the stars for answers.
I think it's time we blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Each episode of Shinichiro Watanabe's seminal 90s anime classic, Cowboy Bebop, starts the same way, with bounty hunters smoking, sprinting, and shooting their way through one of the most iconic anime openings ever. And shown throughout this opening is a lot of text that zooms by far too quickly for you to read as you're busy getting absolutely bombarded, both sonically and visually. Well, that text can in fact be read, and it tells a strange little story. And that story declares Watanabe's intentions for the whole show. In this story within an opening, jazz artists create music that is so unique, its sound can only be described as the invention of a new genre itself. Over 100 years later, bounty hunters gather to play their own kind of music, with a similar freedom and without fear of risky things. And finally, in the real world, an anime director strives to create a show that breaks with tradition. Each of these efforts are given the same label, 2 words that inspired the Toonami generation: Cowboy Bebop. Okay, I know what you were thinking. What does any of this have to do with Persona? That's a fair question. On the surface, these two properties couldn't be any more different, but I think they were created with a similar spirit. You see, Watanabe sought to create a show that broke with anime tradition and became a new genre itself. He succeeded. Bebop is unlike anything that has come before or since its release. Efforts to replicate its success have failed. It's just too unique. Its tone, themes, and presentation all fell perfectly into place, like a jazz ensemble that met for one show, created something beautiful, and then never assembled again. And I believe P Studio, the developers of Persona 3, 4, and 5, share a lot of that same creative energy. They designed a trilogy of titles known for their unique blend of gameplay systems, genres, and influences. It's a formula that seems easy to replicate. Life sim, visual novel, mixed with a Pokemon battler. But just like with Cowboy Bebop, attempts to replicate this magic have failed to garner the same success, even including within the larger Shin Megami Tensei franchise. I can't think of a game that plays exactly like a Persona title, just like I can't name an anime like Cowboy Bebop. They are both one of a kind, or in Persona's case, three of a kind. And with both properties, a unique product demands a unique sound. Bebop was blessed with the musical stylings of Yoko Kanno, who created the anime's unbelievable soundtrack, which somehow blends older blues and jazz sounds with synth and rock to create songs that really do feel like they belong to another planet. Music created without fear of risky things. Music breaking traditional styles. A new genre itself. I'm not an expert on music or music theory. Hell, I'm not even a music critic. But when I think about that goal, to create art and sound and style in harmony only with itself, I think Persona music fits the bill. I've played games with great music before. I've enjoyed how music can elevate a game or franchise, but I've never played a game or series for hundreds of hours because of its music. Persona changed that for me, and I'm not alone. In the lead up to Persona 3 Reload's launch, short snippets of new and remixed tracks were isolated from game trailers, cleaned up, and uploaded to YouTube to the tune of hundreds of thousands of views. You don't have to look far on this website to find other creators like me really passionate about these soundtracks. But if you don't want to do the work to find them, allow me to leave you today with some recommendations. Alex McCalla Music has a handful of videos breaking down Persona music from the perspective of a professional music composer. His videos come from a place of real knowledge and understanding for what is actually happening in each of the tracks that he covers. If you're like me and you don't have a lot of music knowledge, the videos can get a little technical, but Alex manages to keep things light and entertaining with his super cheery personality. If remixes and song covers are more your thing, I would recommend checking out Rohan Adiodi. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. This creator has released some great versions of some of Persona 5 Royal's moodier tracks, including a cover of Gentle Madman that is just excellent. Absolutely worth a listen. And finally, there's the J Music Ensemble, a collection of ultra-talented musicians who have put out some of the best live covers of Persona music you can find on YouTube. Their cover of The Day My Mother Was There, complete with an added spoken word segment, is incredible. Really amazing stuff. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me this video. I'm ready to log off for the day and actually start sinking my teeth more into Reload, but I'll be back soon enough. Until then, if you've enjoyed what you've watched here today, please consider subscribing to Tracking Shots, or maybe watching one of my other videos. Thanks for watching this one, by the way. It's over now, but we'll talk again soon.